Hey there and welcome back. So now we have come to the last video about the BBI modules. So we're gonna do things a little differently this time. So far we have set up these small test games, and not exactly from scratch because we have been using these assets, but we have built them with input scripts and built the screens and so on. Now in this case, we're going to look at the MetroVania game, and there's so much to talk about that I don't want to spend a lot of time setting things up like we have, because I don't want to spend a lot of time with that. If you want to see how to do that, you can just go to the previous videos to see how you import assets, set up palettes, inputs, stuff like that. So let's just spend our time looking at how this works. But we're not going to set up inputs this time, but let's take a look at what input scripts we have here. And by the way, this game that we're looking at right here, that's the test game that's included when you install, or one of the options when you install the BBI modules. So you can look at this yourself as well if you install the BBI modules. So what input scripts do we have here? Well, we have the ladder scripts. Now, we've already seen those both in the arcade platformer and in the LR platformer. So nothing special there. We have the jump that's capable of doing double jumps, move left, move right. Still nothing special. So we haven't looked too much at this shoot projectile script. So I've called this shoot projectile script shoot projectile without action. So when you shoot, you're not going to change the action step. Now that can of course be modified, but you're going to have to do something with the animations. So you have to make it fit to your game. So I'm just going to leave that up to you. By default, it's not going to change action step when you shoot. Stop moving, variable jump. Here we have the default NESmaker script for starting a new game. So this is what you would use on the start screen just to start a new game. Now I've included it here. I don't think I actually use it here in the setup. So we're going to take a look why in just a second. I have deck menu, decrease menu, and ink menu. So these two are of course to navigate the cursor when you're making a menu screen. And if we look here at the code, you can see that the code is really simple. Deck menu, decrease menu, that's just moving the cursor up. So it's going to move it up one step. Now where it's going to go, that's what we're going to look at in just a moment. But deck menu, that's moving the cursor up or to the previous position. Ink menu, that's the opposite, moving down or to the next position. So I also have an input script here called confirm menu. Now this is sort of customizable. So if you want to make a menu, you probably need to modify this if you're going to make a custom menu. So in this case, all this script does, it just has two options here. Actually, it does have 8 options, but only 2 of the options actually does something here. So the first option, that's to warp to a certain screen. Same for the second option. Now the other options here, they just have RTS. They're just gonna exit. But you could modify these and add more if you wanted to. This is just to show you how you can make your own confirm menu script, or as I said, modify this one. So because you could, yeah, I don't know what you want to do with your menus. So if you're gonna make something like that, then you're gonna have to do some coding. But the point here is, with this script, is that we have dec and inc to move the cursor up and down, but this script here, confirm menu, that's the one they're going to run when you confirm a menu choice. And we have this variable option selected. That's the one that keeps track of what option the cursor is at. So if the cursor is at the first option, we're going to run this code. When it's at the second option, we're going to run that code, and so on. So it's kind of pretty simple, actually. But then I have something here called start screen menu. So this is a script that I made specifically for start screens. You could do some custom thing here, modify this to make it work on start screens as well, but in order to make it as clean and as easy as possible, I just made a separate start screen input script. So in this case, this start screen input script only has two options. One here, one here. So what this does, the first option is just to start a new game. The second option is to load a saved game. And as you can see here, after we have loaded it in, we're going to warp to the screen that was saved. So start a new game or load a saved game. That's the default options in the start screen menu script. So I also made a game over script. It doesn't look like I included it here. Alright, anyway. We have this draw NPC text. So if you want to use an NPC in your game, you probably should include this script as well. This is more or less the default NESmaker one, actually. Oh, there we have the game over menu. Okay, so just like with the start menu input script, here's the game over one. So when you're on the game over screen, you also have two options. But in this case, the first option is to load a saved game. The second option is just to warp to a specific screen. So for example, you could warp to, let's say, the start screen. This could be continue, and this could be end. So if you continue, we load from what we have already saved, and we warp to that screen. If we end, we warp to the start screen. Something simple like that. And lastly here we have the pause script, and we've already seen that one. So those are the input scripts. And there's really nothing special here in the how we set these up. First of all, yeah, let's just start at the top here. So here I say on the start screen, if I press select, then I'm going to inc menu. So when I press select, the cursor is going to go down. And the code is written so that if you just have two options and you go down to the second option, if you press select again, it's going to go back to the first option. So that's going to happen on the start screen when I press select. When I press start on the start screen, I'm going to run the start screen menu input script, the one we just looked at. So those two are set up for the start screen game state. So other than that, we have the normal input scripts. Hold right to move right, release right to stop, and so on. And then we have the ladder scripts. We have seen those many times now. We have the double jump script, and this time I included the var jump, the variable jump as well. Press B to shoot a projectile, and also press B to draw NPC text. So both of those are set to the B button. Now the draw NPC text, that's not going to run unless you're really close to an NPC. So we don't have to worry about accidentally triggering some text here, because it's only going to happen when you're very close to an NPC. So shoot, projectile, and draw NPC text, both for the B button. Then I have something here. So this is just if you want to make sort of a custom menu, like I mentioned. So this is the menu game state. Press up to deck menu, decrease the cursor. Press down to ink menu, make the cursor go down. And in this case, I say press A to confirm menu. So it's a pretty simple setup. Press up to go up, press down to go down, press A to confirm. So like I said, if you want to make some sort of custom menu, you can make a screen with the menu game state, and you could set it up like this as an example. Then we have the game over screen here, the game over game state. If I press select, the same thing is going to happen like we did with the start screen. When I press select, I'm going to ink the menu, make the cursor go down. I press start button on the game over screen. I'm going to run the game over menu script. Yeah, and in the main game, when I press start, I'm just going to run this pause script. So that's the setup for the this MetroVania game. So let's just start this game right now. Let's take a look. So here we have the start screen. Now I mentioned this in the preview video, but this little guy up here, he's actually just animated tiles. This is not the actual player object. This is animated tiles. So here I am at the start screen. When I press select now, the cursor goes down. I press select again, it goes to the first position. So that's because on the start screen, I have in screen info, I have set the start screen up with 2 menu options. So if I had several options here, I would have to modify something. We're going to look at that in just a second. But now I press select, and if I press start now, I start the game. But let's go back to the start screen. You can see that the cursor isn't exactly where I want it to be. I want it to be up here. So here and here. It's too low. I want it to go higher. So I have set some default values. You're probably going to have to change those for your game. So if I quit this game now, to change where the cursor goes, the cursor positions, we have to go to project settings, script settings. And we have to go down to where it says game here. So under game, we have something here called extra tables. So if we open extra tables now, there are several things here, but here you can see we have something called menu positions. So to make this as simple as possible, hopefully, I wrote a quick explanation here. So you can choose you can choose the distance that your cursor is going to move. So in this case, I just want the cursor to move one sprite row down, so 8 pixels down for every time I press the select button. So that's going to be tile size 8. That's the size of a sprite tile. Sprite tile is 8 by 8 pixels. And the next one here, 16, that's a background. That's the size of a background tile. So I've written here, if you choose the option here to have just move in sprite, the sprite sprite tile grid, if we can call it that. If you choose that option, then we have 32 tiles across and we have 30 tiles down. So that's something to keep in mind when you're designing the menu, that that's how that works. The background tiles, we have 16 tiles across and 15 tiles down. They're twice as big, so that makes sense. Now if I go back to the start screen now, how can I figure out what numbers to use? I want it to be right here. Well, now I need to check out these, if you can see up here, we have the coordinates for the tiles up here, x0, y0 right now. So if I place my cursor down here where I want the cursor to appear, I can see that now it says x5, y9. Now I wanted to move in 8x8 pixel grid. So I'm going to have to multiply these numbers by 2. So I'm going to have to double the numbers. So right now it says x5, y9. I'm going to have to say x10, y18 in this case. That's the two numbers I'm going to use to make the cursor appear here. So if I go back now to the extra table script. So here we have the menu X positions. Now I want the X position to be the same for every option in my menu. So that's why these are the same. And in this case, it actually works out great, because 10, that's exactly where I want my cursor to appear. Remember, I just doubling these two numbers. Now it says x equals 5, so when I double that, it becomes 10. So that's what I'm doing here. And down here, that's the Y positions. Now for the Y positions, of course, those need to be different, because if these were also the same, then the cursor wouldn't move at all. So we're not going to move in the X direction, but we are going to move in the Y direction. Here we're starting at 20, 21, 22. I don't want that. I just found out that I need my cursor to start at, it says Y9 up here now. So Y9. When I double that, that's 18. So I need to change this first one to 18. That's the starting Y position. And the next one is going to be 19. The next one 20. Now, actually, I don't need this last one in this game. I just have two options. So right now it's set up with 3 options. If I wanted to have several options, I could just copy these ones like that. And if I do something like that and write 21 here now I can make a menu with 4 options, 4 positions, 4 menu positions. So 18, 19, 20, 21. But in this case, I'm actually going to remove this last 2, because in my game, I'm never going to have a menu with more than 2 options. So I'm just going to use these. All right, so I have 10 here for both X positions, and I have 18 and 19 for the Y positions. So let's see now if the cursor appears where I want it. Yeah. Now it looks okay. Now the cursor is exactly at the position where I want it. So that's great. Now if I press the start button now, I start the game. Alright, so let's take a quick look at the game now. So right off the bat here we have a whole lot of stuff going on. First of all, we have these hide behind tiles. So we see that those are working. That's great. We have a ladder. See that that's working. I can stop in the middle of the ladder. Great. And I can also hold down on the D-pad and jump to go through these jump through platforms. And the hurt tile is also working. Now I also have this moving platform here. So we have a lot of stuff here right on the first screen. I can shoot, and there's a whole lot of stuff going on here. So if I move a little further, we can see that slopes are working, no problem. And let's see. All right. So I set these guys up with health, actually. That's where they're bouncing around. But anyway, I did all this just to show that we have a lot of stuff working out of the box. Now we also have this door tile where you can press up to go to warp to another screen. And then we have a little NPC up there. So we have a lot of stuff. Let's just continue on a little bit. So we can go down. We also have this monster block over here. Right now I can't go through it. If I kill this guy, you can see that the monster block went away. And now I can go through here. And if I go back now, the monster block is gone. So it's a permanent thing. When you destroy all the monsters on the screen, the monster block goes away permanently. Yeah, so the trampoline's working, great. So here we have a breakable tile. Now that is going to come back. That's not going to stay gone permanently. We could do that, but it's not set up like that by default. So if I shoot this breakable tile, it does go away. But if I come back here now the tile is back as well. So that's not gonna stay permanently. So over here we have the lock tile. Right now I don't have any keys. So let's see if I can get some keys from this guy. Nope. Right, fine. Let's go up here instead. Over here, if I can make that jump. All right, let me just go down here and get the double jump shoes. So we can make that jump. So here we have the double jump shoes, and until now I did not have double jump. But when I picked up this shoe, I got this little icon up here. Now this is a part of the sprite HUD. So I have been very careful not to use more than 8 sprite tiles in a row, because as you know, the NES can only display 8 sprites for every scan line. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's no issue up there right now. So now I have triggered the double jump in my jump script. So now I do have double jump. And I did not have double jump before. So let me just go up where I was going to show you something earlier. So if I go up here now, I should be able to reach, yeah. So when I go in here now, I come to this save room. Now this thing we haven't seen too much. Well, I don't think we have talked too much about this. Here I have this save tile. Now it's set up really simple. So the only thing I need to do to make this work is just to touch this tile, and I save the game. That's all I need to do. And what this does, it saves the screen that I'm on, the position. No, well, it doesn't save the position. We have to set the warp in position here. But it does save the screen that I'm on here. It also saves the money, the amount of money we have here, maximum health, ammo, keys, power-ups. So I think it saves the most important things here. And also it saves all the triggered screens as well. So now you would think that okay, we have saved the game. Now I can just restart the game and load it like that. Let's try. And I just get back to the first start screen here, the first screen. Why is that? Well, if you've been following the BBI modules, you probably know the answer to that. So the problem here is that if I go to my Messen emulator, I can see that I'm not using the latest version of Messen. This is version 098, and that can't handle this save stuff. So if I want to use saving, then I need to update this emulator to the latest version. And just like we've seen before, the only thing you need to do is just to download the Messen file from the Messen website and go into your NESmaker folder, emulator, and I just like to do this in a very clean way. So I just delete everything in the emulator folder. Just delete everything in there and put the new Messen file in there. So if you do that, then the save and load functionality is going to work. But as you can see, it does not work in the old version of Messen. All right. So, like I said, we have a lot of stuff going on here. So this is the reason why I didn't want to make this game from scratch. So we have seen, I think we've seen all the tiles: solid, hurt, warp, door warp. I don't think we have seen auto text. So let's just quickly set up a screen over here now. And I'm just going to set up a little solid grid here. Something like that. And now I'm going to use the auto text tile to make some text appear. Let's say that this was a cutscene, for example. Now I'm going to use the auto text tile. And I'm going to set the auto text tile right there. I'm going to place my player just right above that. So he's going to fall now. He's going to fall right on this auto text tile. That's going to trigger some text. So the important part here is that now I need to hide the player. I don't want to see the player fall on the auto text tile. This is a cutscene, so I'm going to go to screen info and I'm going to to hide the player sprite. Now we have two options to hide sprites here. We can hide all sprites, which is the first one, or we can just hide just the player. So for example, if this was a cutscene with and I wanted to use other sprites here to make some cool things happen in my cutscene, but I didn't want the player to be visible, then I just click hide player sprite and he's going to be invisible now. So I'm going to do that, and also I'm going to change the game state from main game to let's say game state 5. I haven't written a cutscene here. I could have done that, but I don't want this to be the start screen or main. If I choose the main game, then I can move the guy around even though he's invisible. I don't want that. So I want my cutscenes to have a separate game state. And let's just change the name of this to cutscene right now. So if I go to project settings and I go to game states down here, I'm going to change game state 5 to cut cutscene, like that. Now, it's not going to update here in the list until I leave this screen and come back. So now we can see, now this screen is set up with the game state called cutscene. Alright, so here I'm actually going to include another input script. So I'm going to go to scripts, input scripts, base45 BBI, game, mod MetroVania, inputs, and maybe I did include it already. Yeah, well, we have this draw NPC text. I think we can use that one. So the point I'm trying to make here is that we're going to display some text, but I have to have a way of clicking away that text. I need to have a way to progress, because if I don't, then the text is going to write to the screen and I'm going to be stuck there. So I need to have a way to continue somehow. Right, so now this is a cutscene game state, fine. Now I'm going to go to my input editor and I'm going to choose game state cutscene here. And I'm going to say, when I press the A button, then I'm going to use this draw NPC text. I think this is going to work, even though we're not talking to an NPC, I think it's going to work. Alright, so on the cutscene game state, and I press the A button, I'm going to draw NPC text. Alright, so now I've hidden the player, and yeah, I have some text here from the NPC guy. I'm just gonna use that. This is just an example. So now this guy is going to fall down on the auto text tile. I'm gonna get some text. And actually, to make this work, we also have a way. We need to have a way to warp to a different screen. So it's great that we can click a button to make the text go away, but we also need to make something else happen after the text has gone away. Or again, we're just going to be stuck there. How do we do that? Well, I've included a fix from Dale Coop. He did a clever thing. So if we go now to text here. So normally when you set up these text entries in NESmaker, you have this thing called end of text action. If you set the end of text action to NPC's trigger, then that's going to trigger the screen when the text goes away. Now we have a lot of stuff here, and unfortunately some of this doesn't work by default in NESmaker. But what Dale Coop did, he hacked this thing called Open Shop, because that has no effect in the default NESmaker. So for the Open Shop, what's going to happen is that at the end of the text, you're going to go to warp. So Open Shop now means go to warp when we're talking about text here. So I'm going to set this to Open Shop, go to warp. So when this text goes away, we're going to go to warp. So great. Now I need to make sure that the text group NPC1 is set up with this text entry, and it is, so that's great. And the same thing for this screen info, NPC day group, that's NPC1. So we do have the correct text group. Alright, so where are we going to warp? It says 0, 0 here. That's this first screen. Yeah, that's gonna work out fine. So let's say that this was a cutscene now, and some text is going to appear. When I press the A button, the text is going to go away, and we're going to warp to that first screen. Let's see if that works. So we get some text on the screen. Perfect. I did not see the player, so that's also great. And when I press the A button now, the text is going to go away and we're going to go to a warp. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. So that's just a little quick tutorial on how you can make cutscenes. Now, of course, this is a very simple example. You could make advanced cutscenes, but we can't go into every single possibility here. This is just the basic way of doing it. Right, so that's setting up a cutscene. Now, for the we have looked at the start screen. Now, the game over screen down here is basically the same thing, but since I set up my extra table script here earlier with these values, that means that every menu is going to use these values. So that might not fit with the game over screen here, because I set those values here for the start screen. So let's see. For the start screen, the text here starts at, if I look at these coordinates, 6, 9. That's where my text starts. That's the tiles for my text. 6, 9, x6, y9. How are they set up here? 6, 10. So now you're going to have an issue, because the cursor is going to appear up here. So the easiest way to do that is just to make sure that the text here, I'm going to move it one row up. So that's the easiest way of doing it. Of course, we can set up custom positions for every screen, but we haven't done that here. So easiest thing is just to have the options at the same position, at least the start options. Now I could, if I had several entries here in the menu tables, then I could of course make this menu longer. So I could of course, even though we have the same start position, the thing that decides how big the menu actually is, that's here in screen info, menu options. But in this case, I just have 2 options for the start screen, 2 options for the game over screen. And just to make life easier for myself, I made sure that the text here is at the exact same position on the start screen and the game over screen. So let's just quickly check if that works here on the game over screen. Yeah, so I moved the text one row up, and now the cursor is at the correct position. So that's great. All right. So for the moving platforms, I think we have seen this before. I think we did it in the arcade platformer, but let's just do a quick repetition. So what I did for the moving platforms here is that I made 2 game objects. One is called moving platform LR, so that's moving platform left to right, horizontal. One is called moving platform up down. So the way these are set up is really simple. For this one, left right, if we go to object details, first of all, the whole thing is just a bounding box. The bounding box is covering this whole thing. But for actions, it's important to set this up with ignore gravity and also walkable. This walkable thing is what's going to allow us to walk on top of this. And for the actions, I just set this up for with move right and reverse direction if it hits something solid. So Other than that, there's really nothing special. We have the normal speed and yeah, so nothing special with this one. Now for the moving platform that goes up and down, it's almost the same. If we go to object details, bounding box, and here in the details. Now I do have normal max speed and acceleration speed, but I also have jump speed for this platform that goes up and down. And this jump speed is set for the exact same speed as the normal max speed. This needs to be set for the platforms that go up and down. And also, we need to make sure that we have set ignore gravity and walkable. But in addition to that, we also need to choose custom action types for this platform that goes up and down. So we have moving platform up, we have moving platform down, and we have moving platform stop. So in this case, I have one action step for moving platform down for 5 time units. It's going to advance to the next action step, that's moving platform up, also for 5 time units. Then we're going to go to first. So ignore gravity and walkable is set for both of these two. So other than that, it's actually really simple just to make moving platforms. Now, one thing we need to keep in mind when we're doing moving platforms on scrolling games like this is that when you're standing on top of this moving platform, the screen is not going to scroll. So if I have a moving platform, let's say up here, and this platform moves to the right, it goes all the way over here, the screen is not going to scroll along. So you're actually the screen is going to be static like this. Both the platform and your player is going to go all the way over here. So that's just something to keep in mind when designing levels. You could make some sort of auto-scrolling thing where if you stand on top of this, then the screen is going to auto-scroll with the platform. But that's a whole thing. We're not going to go into that. Sorry, we're not going to go into that right now. I just wanted you to be aware of that the screen is not going to scroll if you stand on top of a moving platform like this. Okay, so now let's look at the pickup script. So if I go to project settings, script settings, and pickup script, right here. So the pickup script for the MetroVania module is a little more advanced than what we've seen before. We do have the normal things that we have seen already. So for example, health pickup, charge pickup, key pickup, currency pickup, those are the standard things. So those are of course handled here as well. Health pickup, charge, key, and currency. In this case, we are adding a value to my money instead of my score like we did earlier. But if we move down here, I've also added a few other ones here. So of course, all of this can be changed. You can modify whatever you want, but this is how it's set up by default. Game object 11, I've set that up just as an example with a double jump shoes. So game object 11, that's this one over here, double jump pickup. So this is just a game object that's set up as a pickup object. That's it. So, but because this is game object 11, we're gonna run this code, and all this code does is to flip the first bit here in the power-ups variable, and that enables the ability to double jump. Now, if you don't want to have any double jump, you don't want to have any double jump pickup or anything like that, then you can just you can just change this. it's quite easy to make modifications to this. But this is set up just as an example. And what the other things, the other pickups here does, I've just written power up 2, 3, 4. So you can do whatever you want. They just flip their own bit here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 power-ups just with this one variable. And you can make those power-ups mean whatever you want. It's only the double jump shoe that has an actual meaning in this example setup. But I've set another thing here. So game object 15, this last one, that's max health up. So what that's going to do is going to increase max health. That means that by default we have 3 units of health. If I pick up this max health pickup, last game object, then I'm increasing max health, and I go from 3 hearts to 4 hearts. And I also refill the health. So we're gonna have max health as well. And also trigger the screen you're on. And again, it's really simple to change this, but all of this is just set up as an example so you can see how you can do these things. So if you just want to play around with this test game, then you can just go into the code and see how things are done. But I just wanted you to know that by default there are a few things here, like the double jump shoe and the max health pickup, that are already there. So if you don't want those, then you just have to modify, to remove those. Right, so that's the pickup stuff. So I don't think there are any tile types we haven't seen now. No, we've seen all of these, yeah. And we looked at inputs and pickups, yeah. So I think that's it. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think there might have been an issue with the monster health. I'm sorry that I forgot to check that before I started recording. But let's see, monster hurt. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not 100% sure. You might have an issue, you might not. I did not have an issue in this case, so who knows. But anyway, I think that's it for the MetroVania module. So we have looked at all these things, and like we talked about before, let's just be honest, it's not perfect, so you might have issues, but at least you have something to play with here. And who knows, maybe you can make a complete game with what you have here. But yeah, that's it. So this is the last video in the BBI module series, but I hope you have seen that my goal here, like I said before, was to make things a little more interesting and to fix a little some stuff here and there in default NESmaker. And by all means, I have not done this by myself. I've included about 40 features and fixes, and most of those are from other people on the forum. So thank you to all of those people who have made those fixes. I have not done all of this by myself. But like I said, this is what the BBI modules are right now. So I just hope that you have some fun with this, play around with them. Yeah. do whatever you want really. But that's it for now. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.